This is a rabbit, and I spent the whole day hunting it myself. I didn't really, but I did butcher it. A lot of people are squeamish about rabbits, and I get it. They're cute, they look like pets, and honestly, I kinda feel that way too. However, rabbits breed like rabbits, and they're a delicious, healthy, accessible source of protein. Today, I'll show you how to handle one properly and make juicy oven jerk rabbit. Rabbit dries out easily, so I'll also show all the tricks to keep it tender and full of flavor. Let's get into it. Rabbit is extremely lean and packed with protein, with little to no fat. Its muscle fibers are densely packed, making it one of the most digestible sources of protein out there. Unfortunately, that also means it dries out very easily during cooking, so we need to understand a little about the meat itself. That's where rigor mortis comes in. This might not be a concern if you're buying rabbit meat, but since I'm butchering the rabbit myself, it's something I have to think about. Rigor mortis is the stiffening of an animal after death, but it's a bit more than just that. The process begins a couple hours after the animal passes and can last anywhere from 12 to 24 hours, depending on the size and temperature of the animal. Understand this matters because it directly affects the texture and tenderness of the meat. If you cook rabbit too soon after it dies while it's still in full rigor, you end up with tough chewy meat and less flavor. As time passes, enzymes begin to break down the muscle fibers, making the meat more relaxed and tender while enhancing its flavor. This applies to other meats as well, not just rabbit. It's only been a few hours since I dispatched this one, so it's still stiffening. You can see that it's a bit rigid. I'm going to place it in the fridge overnight so it can go through the full process. It's 4 days later. Because I couldn't cook, I placed the rabbit in the freezer for 2 days and then let it thaw in the fridge for 1. As you can see, the meat is now extremely flaccid, which is exactly what we want to see. I'm going to cook this whole, so flatten it will help it cook more evenly. A strategic cut through the ribs and neck helps me open everything up. Nice, that's now ready for the next key step in getting tender rabbit meat. Let's make a brine. For my brine, I'm using 80 ounces of water, and that's by weight. Half of that amount is in the form of ice, and I'll show you why in a second. That's just enough liquid to fully submerge the rabbit. I'm making a 2% salt brine, so I need the total weight of the water to calculate the exact amount of salt. That comes out to 1.6 ounces of kosher salt. Add that to the liquid portion of the water. I eyeballed it, but it's roughly about a tablespoon and a half of dried pimento or allspice. I also have a few cloves of peeled and smashed garlic, and finally 2 bay leaves. A brine has a number of important functions. It not only helps with moisture retention, it's also a great way to season meat and introduce subtle background flavors. It's not necessary to heat the brine, but doing so extracts more flavors from the aromatics and helps the salt dissolve much quicker. I almost forgot the sugar. It's not necessary either, but a couple tablespoons help balance the brine without adding sweetness. I'm just going to boil this for a few minutes, then remove it from the heat. I need a container big enough to fully submerge the rabbit. No, you don't want to add meat to hot brine, so that gives us 2 options. We could let it completely cool or use the second option, and that's where the ice comes in. Having half ice for our brine in the form of ice means we don't have to wait at all. Since the weight of water doesn't change once it's frozen, we can simply weigh the ice to keep our percentages in check. Using half ice cools the brine instantly while still leaving a bit of ice solid. Don't overthink it. I'll leave the exact measurements below. To wrap up the brine, I'm adding a few slices of orange. This adds flavor and a subtle tenderizing effect. Easy. The brine is ready, so now we can add the rabbit. You can brine this for just a few hours. 4 to 6 is ideal for rabbit in a 2% brine. I ended up leaving this overnight, about 12 hours, which is on the high end of where you want to be. You don't want to overbrine though, because the rabbit will start to cure like a ham rather than simply being brined, which deeply seasons and tenderizes the meat. Our rabbit is fully brined, so now let's get to one of my favorite steps. First, I'm going to remove the rabbit from the brine and pot off the excess moisture with a paper towel. Getting rid of as much moisture as possible will really help with the next steps. I'm making oven jerk, so of course we need a jerk marinade. Spicy, aromatic and packed with depth that works with almost any protein. I have a detailed video where I break down jerk seasoning and how to craft this impressive marinade, so I won't go too in depth here, but I will be sure to leave a link in the description. And with that said, jerk marinade calls for large amounts of thyme. Make sure it's fresh thyme because dry thyme is a scam. Pimento or allspice, cloves, onion, scallion, garlic, ginger, browning, brown sugar. I'm using a bit of crushed red pepper sauce for heat. Normally this will be Scotch bonnet pepper, but Hurricane Melissa has driven the price of fresh scotches through the roof. For the price of a dozen peppers, I could probably buy half a dozen bottles of this crushed pepper sauce. For acidity, I'm using a splash of cane vinegar along with neutral oil. And finally, soy sauce. Usually I would season my jerk marinade, but the brine seasoned the rabbit perfectly already, so I will skip any additional salt. Give that a quick blend. And that's our jerk marinade. Usually I get hit with that scotchy aroma, but even without it, this is still crazy flavorful. I'm going to coat the rabbit thoroughly with that jerk seasoning. I want to cover every single surface, complete coverage. The jerk marinade adds flavor and has a tenderizing effect, but our overnight brine is really doing most of the heavy lifting. Personally, I find something about a whole rabbit carcass deeply unsettling, but that's one well seasoned bunny. I'm going to let this marinate for a couple of hours, though you can go as little as 30 to 40 minutes. Once marinated, this will go into the oven since we are doing oven jerk. But first, I'm removing the excess marinade. A baking tray with a wire rack is perfect for oven jerk. I am using my oven, but a smoking setup is definitely ideal for adding an extra element to the flavor profile. I strongly disagree, but some would argue that it's not truly jerk if it's done in the oven. You might have to go back and do some back-breaking work to get the rabbit nice and flat. This helps it cook evenly. Perfect. The key is low and slow, so I'm popping it in the oven at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. As for the excess marinade we have left over, that's not going to waste. We don't waste good flavor. I'm grabbing most of the solids. Red stripe beer. This is a big part of contemporary jerk. It adds incredible flavor and a unique lift to the flavor profile. I'm adding a splash to the leftover marinade. That's roughly a stick of butter. That's going to add a ton of flavor, but it's a bit more than that. Because rabbit is so lean, extra fat helps to keep it tender and juicy. Juiciness in meats has a lot more to do with fats than anything else. Fat helps with moisture retention, which is why meat with plenty of intramuscular fat tastes so juicy. It also carries flavor and gives incredible mouthfeel. Great, we just made some jerk butter. Now that I think about it, the beer wasn't totally necessary for this. As for the rest of the beer, I'm adding it to the bottom of the baking tray. That has a few functions, but the primary one right now is to increase the humidity in the oven. I'll get into the other ones in a bit. The beer evaporates and creates steam, which helps the rabbit cook much more gently. A gentle cook keeps it tender. Once the outside of the rabbit has firmed up, I'm going to brush it with that jerk butter. I'm going to repeat this step every 20 minutes or so on both sides of the rabbit until all the butter is used up. That butter is going to trap moisture in the meat as well as add flavor. Once the rabbit is about 2/3 of the way done, I'm going to pour off that juice. It's an incredible combination of rabbit juices, jerk butter and that beer from earlier. I'm going to use this to make a sauce. Add a big splash of ketchup. That adds acidity, flavor and body to the sauce. I'm also adding a splash of soy sauce. This isn't just a banger sauce, it's also an incredible glaze, which is exactly what I'm going to use it for. At this stage, I crank the oven to 400 degrees to help develop a bit of crust and color. This might look like a lot of work, but really it's not. There's not a lot of active time. Most of this recipe is just waiting. Honestly, this is one of the easier things I've cooked. It's almost ready, so I think I can steal a little taste. Rabbit is safe to eat once it reaches 165 degrees Fahrenheit, so I'm inserting my thermometer at the thickest part of the meat. That's not quite there yet, but once our rabbit is done, we can pull it out of the oven. That took about 90 minutes and it now looks incredible. You can tell that the meat is tender and trying to fall apart. Before I dig into this, I'm going to let it rest for about 10 minutes. That's going to improve its juiciness and texture. While that's resting, let's finish our serving sauce. I didn't use all of it to glaze the rabbit. This sauce is great as is, but I wanted to have an extra kick, so I'm adding some of that crushed pepper sauce. This sauce is very unique as far as jerk sauces go. It's rich and buttery, but still has a good amount of acidity from the ketchup. All the incredible flavors and aromas of jerk, but extra buttery to complement and elevate the lean rabbit meat. Speaking of rabbit meat, it is now rested. Because of how thin that belly meat is, it's overcooked. But that crusty dark bit is probably the most flavorful part. It's just really dry. As for the rest of the rabbit, it's really tender. Brining, marinating and liberally using fats did the trick. Finishing on high and glazing also gave us this incredible finish that's packed with flavor. Look at that. If you cook rabbit any at all, you know that's tender and juicy. Let's finish chopping this up and see how we actually did. That is it. It looks amazing and the smell is incredible. There's a subtle sweet meaty aroma with all the flavors of well done jerk and those spicy notes. Wow, that is a banger. People say rabbit is similar to chicken in flavor, but to me it's its own thing. It's actually a lot closer to turkey in flavor. It's mild and sweet with a distinct light taste. Most people expect rabbit to be gamey, but these are farm raised, so there's zero gaminess. But it has a clean taste that works so well with the jerk. Rabbit muscle fibers are densely packed, so even when it's tender and juicy, it still has a bit of chew and structure that something like a chicken just doesn't have. Incredible. This is the love and care these cute animals deserve. Is rabbit your thing? Let me know your favorite rabbit dish. I'm Nick and this has been delicious. This will be the last video of the year, so I hope you guys had happy holidays and a happy new year when it comes. Big shout out to my patrons. You guys kept the kitchen open all year. Thanks for watching, bless up, and I will catch you next year.